What's up, YouTube? So we are continuing our series where our chefs come up with a recipe, we put it on the website, and then me, Eddie, Deborah, as the least experienced people on our team when it comes to cooking, are gonna cook it for you for the very first time on video. Don't know what's gonna happen, but today I've actually picked one that's pretty easy. It is a sauteed venison in a mushroom cream sauce. And everything that is needed is right here in front of me. So obviously we've got our venison, we've got 2 pounds of elk. What is it, elk? I forgot what it is now. Our protein is elk sirloin butt, so pretty tender cut. I've got 2 pounds of it here. And then the ingredients, 2 different types of mushrooms. You can use your choice. Chanterelle and button mushrooms is what the recipe is written for. A little bit of olive oil for cooking. These are the spices. You can use your favorite spice blend to spice the meat with. Half a cup of white wine, and then some butter, tarragon, and then a tomato sauce, a brown sauce, and some heavy cream. So it's not exactly diet friendly, but I bet it's gonna be good, so we're gonna give it a go. Let's see what happens. All right, so here's what we've done so far. We've rough cut our mushrooms, and then we thin sliced our sirloin butt, and it's ready to go. So now I've got some seasoning that we just threw together real quick. I'm gonna season it. We're gonna get the pan really good and hot, and it doesn't take but literally just half a minute on either side to get our proteins done. And then what we're going to do is spread it out on a cookie sheet so that it's not all bunched up together, continues to cook and sweats, which makes it tough. So anyway, we're gonna get this seasoned up. All right, so 2 different things. One, we're doing this in small batches, putting it in the pan in a good hot pan. The reason you don't put it all in at once is because if you do, this cool meat will cool the pan down and you won't get that sizzle that you're hearing right now. The other thing that we do is, you can see I'm spreading it out on a cookie sheet, and that's because if you just pile it all up, that will let the meat continue to cook and sweat, and it'll make it tough and chewy. So this is something that I have learned from Chef Wutsch and the rest of our team. It's not something that I just automatically knew, but I've learned from them and that we get to pass along to you guys here on the website. So apparently Duke the dog thinks I'm clumsy and I'm gonna drop something. That's what he's wishing for. He's a smart dog though, he likes elk. All right, you see that? That is the good stuff. That is the fond, that's all the flavoring from the meat that we just cooked in there. So now we're going to add the mushrooms with some butter, and we're gonna saute them, but then we're gonna add the wine, which will deglaze the pan, and then all that goodness is gonna start mixing in together and add tons and tons of flavor. So let's get the butter going. I've turned the heat down, by the way. So I actually used button mushrooms and portobellos. I was looking for chanterelles but couldn't find them. So I'm using what I've got. But you see, look here on the bottom, see how that fond's all coming up already just from the butter? So that's actually deglazing the pan, and all that flavor is gonna be in these mushrooms, and then the rest of the ingredients as we put them in. All right, so we've got the mushrooms sauteed. It'll probably go a little bit longer, but we've got half a cup of white wine that we're gonna add in there, and supposed to deglaze the pan with, but it's really pretty much already deglazed just from the butter adding in there. So now we just add the 2 sauces in, which is just a tomato sauce, your choice. And we're gonna reduce it down. So that's the first one. And then the next one is just a brown sauce, which that's what it says on the recipe, and I'm getting ready to come back to that. So it says just a brown sauce. We're adding that in. I'm gonna turn the heat up just a little bit so that it reduces quicker. I'm a little bit of a time crunch. Here in Tulsa, Oklahoma, it is 6:22, and my cameraman, also known as my son, has plans tonight that he has to be somewhere. Like he didn't have anything better to do than hang out with his dad on a Friday night, but whatever. So we're trying to get this done, so I'm turning the heat up just a little bit. But back to the brown sauce I told you about. So one of the things that you got to remember, so we've got 4 chefs on staff. They all know their stuff really well. And I've got to keep reminding them that they know their stuff really well and that the rest of us don't, or maybe some of you all do, but I don't. And so in the recipe, it calls for a brown sauce. I'm going, well, there's no instructions. How do you make a brown sauce? So I texted Chef Albert and he says, it's just Heinz brown creamy gravy. Go to the store and buy it. So I'm thinking that I've got to make this stuff and I don't. It's literally in a jar. So you can make your own, but I like things simple. This is what we did with it. So anyway, now we've got this going with the mushrooms. We're going to let this reduce down. And then the next step will be to add the heavy cream. After we add the heavy cream, we'll turn the temperature up, we'll bring it to a boil. I'll add the meat back in, which brings me to another tip that I learned from chefs. See how we've got that all spread out? That again, just so it's not all piled up, so that it doesn't retain its heat, and so that it doesn't sweat, causing it to be chewy and tough. The other thing that people have done is they continue to leave the meat in the sauce as it reduces, so you're just cooking the meat the whole time. Makes it tough. Don't do that. So we're adding that to the sauce when we reduce that down, and then we're going to start adding the meat in. Let it get some flavor. So this is the part where I'm supposed to act like I'm trying it for the first time, but I've been eating it out of the pan for quite a while now. It is really good, super simple, and very tasty. In fact, you should try it. All right, so here's the deal. We add recipes to FromFieldToTable.com every week. You guys make sure that you hit the subscribe button, hit the bell for notifications so you're notified every time that we add a new recipe. And if there's something that you want to see us cook on here, leave us a comment. Let us know if there's something that you want us to cook and we will get it up for you. Thanks a lot.